Let us look at yet another example or instance of the concept of field of view. This person right over here, his name is Harry. So Harry is walking towards the right, and Harry is approaching a wedge or a slope which is reflecting in nature. So basically this right over here is the reflecting wedge or reflecting mirror, so as to say, and Harry is moving towards the right and approaching the reflecting mirror. So we have been asked, at what distance will Harry start to see his own image? So for simplicity, we are going to assume that Harry's eyes are located at the top of his head, basically like a frog, but Harry doesn't seem to be a frog. Rather, let's assume he's not a frog. But for simplicity, we are going to assume that Harry's eyes are located at the top of his head. So we have been asked at what distance. So what is the distance x? Okay, let us say some distance x right over here. What is the distance x where Harry will start seeing his own image? Okay, so let us say Harry has approached the mirror and is at that certain distance x. Also, another given is this particular angle. So this angle theta has been given to us. Another given is Harry's height. Okay, so Harry's height is h, let us say. So at this particular distance x, a certain something is going to happen. The ray will enter Harry's eye. Which ray? The ray that is reflected from the mirror. So I am drawing a normal over here. Yeah, so this is the normal. Let's adjust Harry. Okay, so this is wherein Harry will begin to see himself. Why? Because we can understand that if Harry is very far away, then let us say the ray diagram pertaining to the field of view is going to look something like this. So the ray that goes from Harry's eye to the edge of the mirror reflects and goes like this. So because of reversibility of light, the ray that will come like so will enter Harry's eye. So we can see that Harry cannot see anything, okay, that is in this region, because this region is not within the field of view of Harry as it stands as of now. So let us say there is another ray, for instance. The ray will get reflected and go somewhere like so. So the field of view of Harry vis-a-vis this particular situation is going to be this. This is going to be the field of view. This is what Harry will be able to see. So we can very clearly understand that currently Harry is not in his own field of view. So when will Harry enter his own field of view? So let's understand that Harry will enter his own field of view when he reaches the normal point, or rather his eyes reach the normal point, because now what will happen is the ray that is emanating from Harry's eyes will get normally reflected and enter Harry's eyes back again. So basically he has started to be in his own field of view at this particular instance. Again, I am reiterating the assumption that we are assuming Harry's eyes to be on the top of his head. So this is the particular situation that we need to analyze. Alright, so by doing some basic geometry, which I am giving a slang word to as theta-giri, pronounced as theta-giri. So this is the slang that I am using for the geometry of angles in such situations that we often need to do. So let us say this angle is theta, so it is it should be very apparent if I draw this normal to the ground that this angle is 90 minus theta, so this angle happens to be theta, because both these angles are 90 degree. This is 90 degree and this is also 90 degree. Alright, so since this angle is theta, it stands to reason that this angle right over here is also theta. So it should be very clear to us that x upon h happens to be equal to tan theta, and x happens to be equal to h tan theta, and that is the answer for the value of x.